Welcome to the Word for Life podcast, a daily devotional covering the entire Bible from Genesis to Revelation.
In Numbers chapter 8, the Lord specifically spoke to Moses about the priests and Levites who will serve at the tabernacle. The specific instruction for the priests is that they must ensure that all 7 lamps are burning and light up the area in front of the lampstand, which is the holy place. This instruction gives an example of how the priests were always busy with various responsibilities at the tabernacle. Therefore, the Lord provided people to help the priests, and those were the Levites. The rest of the chapter is God's instructions about the Levites. We can see 5 aspects about the Levites here in this chapter. First, they are cleansed vessels for God. According to verse 7 and 8, the Levites will go through sprinkling of water of cleansing, shave their bodies, wash their clothes, offer a grain offering and a sin offering to the Lord. Secondly, they are living sacrifices. You see, usually offerings were waved before the Lord, but here in verse 11, Aaron has to present the Levites before the Lord as a wave offering from the Israelites. Dear friends, more than offering our material things to the Lord, offering ourselves as living sacrifices is the highest, best, most acceptable and costliest form of Christian worship. Adoniram Judson preached in Burma, that is Myanmar, for 5 years before he baptized his first convert. During that time, he struggled with the Burmese language and produced a translation of the New Testament. As a missionary, he suffered severe recurrent illness, family bereavements, imprisonments, torture. But then still he completed the Bible translation into Burmese. And today, most of his children followed his example, became ministers, doctors and teachers. And at the close of his life, over 7,000 believers were won for Christ. And there were 63 churches in Burma. Today, Burma, that is Myanmar, has 4.5 million Christians. Dear friends, offering ourselves as living sacrifices is the best thing that we could do. Thirdly, the Levites are people's representatives. In verse 10 we read, "You are to bring the Levites before the Lord, and the Israelites are to lay their hands on them." You see, the Levites were substitutes for the other Israelites. In fact, the Israelites had to do the work of the tabernacle. More specifically, the firstborn of Israel had to do the work of the tabernacle. As verse 17 says, "Every firstborn male in Israel, whether human or animal, is mine. When I struck down all the firstborn in Egypt, I set them apart for myself." But then verse 18 says, "And I have taken the Levites in place of all the firstborn sons in Israel." Dear friends, sometimes we as believers represent others in God's presence. Many Christian mothers have fasted, prayed and sacrificed to the Lord in the place of their children. And today, those children have become a blessing to many people. Fourthly, the Levite is God's property. Verse 17 says, "I have set them apart for myself." You see, every Christian is God's property. Friends, today's popular concept is self-empowerment, self-fulfillment, self-discovery. But Christians think of themselves as God's property. God is their model and Christ is their mentor. Fifthly and finally, the Levite is a supportive partner. In verse 19 we read, "From among all the Israelites, I have given the Levites as gifts to Aaron and his sons to do the work at the tent of meeting." This means The Levites will relieve the priests of some of the time-consuming tasks in the tabernacle. They will support the priests. Friends, even today, Christian churches are filled with such supportive people. These are the unsung individuals. They may not be gifted speakers, evangelists, and on the stage people. These are usually workers in the background, but these are the ones who keep the ministry and the kingdom moving. These are the Levites who give their best to the Lord.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow for the next episode of the Word for Life podcast.